Guys, as preppers, we tend to purchase a number of things to make us more prepared in case we have any kind of emergency. It doesn't have to be a zombie apocalypse or a dystopian future. You know, it can just be an everyday situation. Power outage, you know, there are different things that happen, bad weather, we may be traveling. There's a number of things that we try to put together and have stocked up for a rainy day. Now, today we're going to take a look at 25 items that are cheap, that are typically just everyday items that I want to recommend that you stock up on. Because in a SHTF situation, these are going to be invaluable. Today, it's like, whatever. I mean, this is just something I use. Man, if you run out of that thing, it is going to be vital. And so we're going to check out 25 items that you need to stock up on that are cheap, but it'll be worth its weight in gold in a grid down situation. All right, guys, number one on the list, and this is one that I just have been doing for a long time, is Bic lighters. And you can get them in these 5-packs. Makes it really easy. They're right there at the grocery counter, and so it's really easy to pick them up. I'm a big fan of Bics. They just seem to work more than others. So I like to have a redundancy, and we have these in different places. In our junk drawers, I have them in my EDC packs. This is just one of those fire starters that is simple. It's the easiest to use. It's the most convenient. I would recommend having other sources because the Bic lighter can go out, that little wheel can corrode, or you can run out of fuel. So having multiples makes it really just smart and easy to do. You've always got fire at your fingertips or your thumb. So fire is one of the most important elements that we have in nature, and it's important for survival. So just make sure that you have a lot of lighters. All right, next we have toilet paper, and we've seen what happened when COVID first hit. Toilet paper flew off the shelves. Here lately, anything that happens, people just grab toilet paper. One thing about it is it's bulky, it's big, but guys, there is no real good substitute for toilet paper. There is one, and we'll look at that in a minute, but this is the best option. And so going ahead, getting your toilet paper and stocking it up. That is the key. And guys, it's not super expensive. Again, it is bulky, but it's one of those things, guys, that's the best out there for keeping yourself clean. And the next best thing to keep yourself clean are wet wipes. And you can get the small packs. I like to keep these in my bags, my go bag, my bug out bag. These are invaluable. They keep you clean. And guys, one thing you need to think about with survival, and whether it's a natural disaster or whatever you find yourself in, is you want to get yourself clean. You want to keep yourself clean. And so this is a great way to do it. It can be used as toilet paper, but it can be used for a lot of other things. And there's a lot of properties with wet wipes that are antimicrobial. It will help keep you sanitized. And guys, really, that's one of the big problems in a crisis situation is people can get sick because they're just dirty and they end up putting their hands in their food and their mouth. This will just help keep you clean, and you don't have to have water. You can use it just like it is. Zip ties. Zip ties have a bazillion uses to them. And guys, it just helps keep things secure. If you're trying to repair something, if you want to put a tarp up, there's a lot of things you can do with zip ties. They come in multiple colors, they come in multiple sizes, and different thicknesses. And so this is something that is one of those, you can have so many uses for it. The zip ties are one of those things that I like to keep around. You can buy them in bulk packs, which I highly recommend. But if you buy them in the smaller packs as you go along, you can just kind of add these up. And zip ties come in handy for so many things. So zip ties, a big plus. Now I like my coffee, and I like it just fresh ground. But if I'm in a crisis and I just can warm up some water and throw in some instant coffee, it is wonderful if you can't have any coffee at all. So I keep little packs of instant coffee, also tea bags. And this is really one of those things that just gives you that little boost when you need it. And has that caffeine in it so it keeps you going. And even if the power's out, I can heat up some water on the fire and I can fix my coffee or my tea. Socks. Socks are the #1 requested item from homeless shelters and also from thrift stores, things like that. Socks are rarely donated because socks typically, you wear them out, you throw them out. So having a lot of extra socks again, is just one of those things that you could really need. And guys, you've got to protect your feet. Now, you know, these kind of socks are not necessarily the kind that you want to jump on with the beer mugs, but you know, having some good socks, you'll need summer socks, but you can also stock up on winter socks. Band-Aids, one of the things I really like to have around. I mean, it makes it so easy if you have a minor cut or even a little bit of an aggressive cut. Typically with Band-Aids, you can treat it, it can cover it, it keeps it clean, and keeps it from getting infected. Here we even have some neosporin that's applied to the Band-Aid, but that's just one of the things that they offer. There's a ton of different choices, a ton of different sizes. Now these are a little bit larger, so you know I like to have that more capability, but the smaller ones are great too. And then of course you just have a few. But guys, there's a ton of different choices with Band-Aids, and they're fairly reasonable when you pick up a small pack. So it's one of those things that you can stock up on and you can have them when you need them. And you will need them. And guys, with that, some antibiotic ointment or neosporin, I mean, that is great to be able to protect those wounds. Because again, you've got to be able to keep infection down, and this is a great way to hedge against that. So your Band-Aids are great, but this really helps to keep you healthy. And this can also be used as a fire starter. Bar soap. To me, bar soap is one of the best to have. A lot of people use the liquid soap, but I like bar soap. I've subscribed to Dr. Squatch. I love this. I got started on it because of their incredible commercials, but this is an all-natural soap, and it really is an excellent soap. This isn't a commercial from them. I'm not sponsored by Dr. Squatch, but I do get a lot of this soap, and I love to have it stocked up. Of course, you know, you have your standard Ivory soap or different type soaps. But one of the things about just soap in itself is that it keeps you clean. And guys, in a bad situation, when you just want to clean up, there's no substitute. And so this gives you the ability to keep yourself clean. It's a little bit of a morale booster. But guys, again, keeping clean is very important in a SHTF situation. Boot laces or shoelaces, and there's a number of different kinds. I mean, they've got the corded kind that you find in a lot of boots, but they also have the leather type shoelaces. And there's a ton of different lengths, sizes. One thing you can use though is paracord. Paracord works for a lot of boot laces, so that also works. But having boot laces in the right lengths. Now with the leather especially, you can cut that, trim it however you want to. So I would purchase the longest size. You can always tie off the rest of it. So having boot laces is something that honestly I don't think about a lot. I do consider my paracord to be a substitute, but if you have standard boot laces, it's just going to hold up really well. So boot laces, inexpensive, great to stock up on. Bleach. Obviously this is Clorox, but any bleach that's unscented. One of the things about bleach is it keeps your area clean. You can wipe things down, it's going to kill germs, but also you can actually treat water. And water could be one of those important things if we have any kind of disruption where bleach is going to be vital. And you know, bleach does a lot of things, but definitely for cleaning purposes, and again, non-scented. And you can get these in different sizes, but stock up on bleach. It is very inexpensive, and it's one of those things that's just a basic. And when it comes to batteries, I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory. We can always use batteries. Of course, AA's, CR123s, AAA's are good to have. The 9 volts, great. There's so many uses for these. And then I always stock up on the 2032 batteries. And these are for most of your optics and a lot of other things. And rechargeable batteries work great, but these have a 10-year shelf life. So that's a great way to be able to store these for an extended period of time. And batteries are not cheap, but if you buy the small packs, they're fairly reasonable. And then as you continue to buy them up, and you know, you can build up a nice inventory of batteries. And one thing that I use is what they call the Battery Daddy, and it fits a ton of batteries in there. It has a charger with it. I did a review on it. That is just an excellent way to store your batteries. So there are options to be able to store batteries and just rotate them out. And that's one of the biggest things you want to do. Hand sanitizer, again, works like soap in a sense, keeps your hands clean. During the 2020, this stuff became, I mean, almost impossible to get. And so having some hand sanitizer set back is just smart. And you know, you can buy it in a much smaller container, so it's very reasonable just to pick up. We keep some of these around, and then we have the smaller ones as well. So not necessarily just for sickness, but also to keep your hands clean. And this is just a great way to do it. And you don't have to use extra water. With soap, you've got to add water to it. If water's scarce, this is going to be even a better option. Now this is all under one item. You have your toothbrushes. Guys, just stick some toothbrushes back. We do that. We keep a lot of toothbrushes ahead because again, there is no substitute for a good toothbrush. Also, we keep our floss picks. And this way, you know, if we need to get something out from our teeth, but oral care is going to be really important because it affects a lot of your body when you don't take care of your teeth. With old toothbrushes, you can use them to be able to clean things and scrub items. And so we always keep the old toothbrushes around to do that. Of course, a no-brainer is duct tape. I personally like Gorilla Tape. There's 100-mile-an-hour tape, which is military use. This stuff has 1,000 uses. And duct tape can do repairs. You can use it to tape things up. I mean, it just gives you so many different options. And so having duct tape, it's fairly reasonable, easy to stock up on. You want to make sure that you keep it, though, in a good environment so it doesn't, you lose this core and it starts to degrade and deform. So keep it out of the heat, keep it in a room temperature place, you know, that has less sunlight, and this will last for a long time. But duct tape, I mean, guys, we all know the advantages. So make sure you stock up on just more than just one roll. Ziploc bags, very reasonable, easy to use, tons of uses, seal things in them, and it does seal here. Now this is just the sandwich size. There are some more sturdy bags, but I mean, guys, there are 280 bags here. It gives you a lot. So you don't necessarily have to store up a whole lot of these bags, but it gives you something that really, with this press and seal, it makes it so easy to be able to put things away, organize things, keep them out of the elements. You can protect your phone. You can do a lot of things with Ziploc bags. And so this is definitely one of those things that you need to have on hand. And guys, a lot of times with this kind of stuff, we have them around, but we have limited supply. So the things that you're going to use on a regular basis, go ahead and jump up and just invest in having some extra stuff. And it could really come in handy on a rainy day. Kleenex. One of the things about getting sick, if you use paper towels or even toilet paper, Kleenex are made to be able to keep your nose clean, but also it's soft enough to not rub it raw. And so Kleenex are one of those things. It can be used as toilet paper if you had to have it, but I really like to have Kleenex around, especially in the winter time. So having some Kleenex put aside, it's just one of those things that while it's not mandatory and there are other things you can use, this will help keep your nose from just getting raw. And because your diet may be down and you're not really eating as well as you should, you know, your immunity system may be down some. So you could get sick possibly easier. So Kleenex, great idea. Now we just did a video on salt. Guys, you can't live without salt. We have to have it. And, you know, and iodine is also one of those things that we really have to have in our diet. Now, the one thing about iodinized salt is that the shelf life is only 5 years. With standard salt, table salt, without iodine, it's indefinite shelf life. So, you know, it's one of those catch-22s. But having salt, whether it's sea salt, table salt, or even like some of the specialty salts like the Himalayan pink salt, this just gives you that much needed salt. You can put salt down on your steps if it's bad conditions. And of course, you know, it does flavor your food. It brings out flavor. But again, this is an essential mineral that you've got to have. And a lot of times when we talk about low salt, doctors and health are kind of low salt, you've still got to have salt. We talked about wet wipes. We talked about Clorox or bleach. This is something that we find that makes it so easy to clean. And so with the Clorox wet wipes, it's one of those things that we keep around all the time. And that's part of this 25 items are things that you're using on a regular basis. And this to me is a more convenient way to keep things clean. And we use these bathroom, kitchen, floor, have spills in the floor, and it just keeps it clean. So I love the Clorox wipes. They're just great, but there are of course other brands. But there are 75 wet wipes in here and it kills 99.9% of viruses and bacteria. This is a great thing to stock up on. Heavy meal trash bags, and I mean industrial commercial strength trash bags, construction site trash bags. These things are the beast, and they're very heavy. They're made to put different type harder objects in without tearing. And so I typically buy these at Lowe's, Home Depot. We did a video about the multiple uses of these type bags. There was a survival expert a few years ago that was asked if he only had one item, what would it be? And he said a heavy meal trash bag. You can use this for shelter, you can collect water, you can collect items, you can carry things. I mean, there are just so many things, and you can get rid of trash or whatever. So heavy meal trash bags, they go in every pack that I have and all my family. And so this is one item that I consider vital. And so we buy it in the big rolls. It comes in big rolls. And so this is just a great way to have these trash bags put aside. We don't use these for every day. We use these for bigger items, but man, they really come in handy. Feminine hygiene products, whatever you use, stock up on it. Ladies, I mean, that's one thing that you don't want to be without. Men, you don't want your ladies to be without it. So whatever you do, make sure that you stock up. And some people can use these for some sort of bandage, but you know, it is limited use for that, but it's definitely something that you could use. But having feminine hygiene products, stock them up, have them put back. Now guys, while this is not a necessity, candy is one thing that helps to lift the mood when it comes to chocolate in particular. I mean, there's a lot of things. It creates a dopamine effect, which helps you to kind of calm down. And so, you know, having a little bit of something to be able to try in a stressful situation, it makes it really nice. It's just a nice break. And of course, chocolate's one thing, but there's also different hard candies. Whatever that you like, just have some stock back. It's not something that I would stock heavy on, but it's definitely something to have around because if you need it, I mean, there are some people, I'm not really a big chocolate guy, but there are some people that just can't live without chocolate. And there are a lot of benefits to chocolate. But again, also different type candies, something just to give you a break. Chapstick. Chapstick, guys, you get those lips dry, you get them chapped, maybe you're not getting enough water. Maybe it's cold weather and your lips crack. Chapstick is just one of those things that's cheap, easy to stock up on. Whether you go with just the basic chapstick or even some of the lip balms, and of course there's a lot of other options. One thing about chapstick as well is that it is flammable and you can use it as a fire starter. So having chapstick should be in your pack anyway. It can keep your hands from getting chapped as well, and you know, even your face. So chapstick, definitely a big plus. Now, one big one is propane bottles. These are 1 pound propane cans. I mean, they're used for camping, hiking, doing different things, Coleman lanterns, different stoves. I have a Mr. Heater Buddy. These go in there. They're about $5 or $6 a piece. Of course, you can get the bigger containers as well. But stocking up on these, they last for years. And so there's so many different uses, especially in an SHTF situation. And so these are great to have. I like to put these back. So if we ever need anything, we've got it right here. I mean, this can give you heat, it can give you light, and it can power different things. And again, it's one of the most stable type fuel sources that you can put back. And that's one of the big pluses even for safety. And guys, as a bonus, this is something that I've done a video on about keeping liquor for SHTF. And there's a lot of reasons. Definitely, it's great for community. It's great for socialization. And two, people that really drink a lot, they're going to really crave liquor. And of course, there's a lot of different types. Of course, this is Crown. But these small mini bottles are fairly inexpensive. They're easy to pack away. And it's just one of those things, medicinal purposes. Man, if you've got a really tough cough, you add a little honey to it, you know, it's going to help. And so having some liquor set back, even if you don't drink, there's a lot of purposes and uses for liquor. So guys, down in the comments below, if you have some items that you really feel that are fairly inexpensive, but that you can stock up on and that are cheap now, but in a bad situation are going to be worth its weight in gold, then put that down in the comments. And guys, these are easy to buy now. They're simple. You know, I do it on an everyday basis. I'll pick up a pack of matches or, you know, lighters or maybe some Kleenex or different things that, you know I'm going to use. And then I have those stocked up. And again, when something happens, I'm ready to go. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. So zip ties, a big plus. A big plus. But that'll be worth that. Okay. Now we talked about wet. So boot laces, a big plus. No, I don't want to say big plus.